Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for another very special edition of WOWSA Live. And this is our Olympic 10K marathon swim version. And we're here with Anna Olasz of Hungary. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. That was a great swim.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was probably one of my best races.
Yeah, and I love watching the Olympics. I mean, it's so exciting. We never know who's going to win, especially in open water. And I loved when they shot off the gun and you just sort of stood there and you let everybody else dive in the water and then you dove in. What were you thinking there?
Yeah, I usually do that. I try to jump in just a couple seconds or like not even a second later than everyone else, because it happened to me before that everyone like jumped in at the same time and someone jumped on me, and it's just so not worth it in open water to be hit like that in the first like 2 seconds. So I just kind of wait until people jump in and then I have a clean spot to jump to.
Great, great. Now I understand. So in the beginning of the race, I mean, Ashley Twitchell of the United States, I mean, she took off fast. I mean, really fast. And did you know that pace was going to be that fast in the beginning?
I was kind of expecting it and I was kind of hoping it, because that's also good for me to have like a fast pace for the whole race, because that's my strength too. I'm not the biggest sprinter, so if it goes down just like to the last 200 meters, I'm probably always gonna be beaten. But this way, like I can hold this fast pace for a very long time. So I was really hoping this was gonna happen. And as you could see, the group broke into many pieces kind of early on. And for the last lap, it was only 8 of us who could stay in that front pack. So that also had that it wasn't about fighting, it wasn't about trying to get your place, it was all about swimming. And I think that's how an open water race should go.
Yeah, I had that same impression. It seemed to be a very clean race. There wasn't a lot of fighting, no elbows or pulling back. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it also had that it was only 25 of us.
Yeah.
So obviously the pack was so much smaller, so it's less chance to fight. And also the other thing, the water was extremely warm, and I think people try to save energy on fighting. So that's also always good. Like I wish all the races was like that.
Yeah, yeah. And then so Ashley was leading at a fast pace in the first half race, and then Ana Marcela Cunha of Brazil then was going started fast at the end. What were you thinking about that situation?
So my goal was to stay in the front half of the pack, so top eight, and try to stay as smooth as possible, like save as much energy as I could, since I knew this warm water is gonna be really hard at the end, and it takes out way more energy than you would expect. So I was just trying to always swim on someone's feet and like save energy but stay in the front of the pack. And then when Anna Marcelin took over, I knew there's gonna be a huge gear shift. So I was preparing for that, so it wasn't a surprise at all. And I think the 10 years that I spent in open water already had me with this, because kind of like prepared me for this whole situation. And so when we turned to the last lap and I saw I'm eight, and I also saw the chasing group is well behind us, like they were I think 40-second behind us, I could finally relax, because my goal before Olympics was to make it to top eight. Um, Obviously, everyone goes for the medal, but I would have been happy with top eight too. And so when I saw I'm eight, I knew if I just finish, I'm gonna reach my goal. So I could go into the last lap without any pressure on, because every single person I passed, I was just happier and happier kind of. So I think it made me forget about the pain, and this was really helpful for my finish. And I think that's how I could get over the whole like really warm water exhaustion, extreme thirst. I was so thirsty
Really?
by the
Okay.
end. Yeah, it's like super hot water, like you lose so much water you don't even realize.
Yeah. So the water temperature was about 29.3, it was reported.
Yeah, it's
How
like
did,
5 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, in the morning when you woke up, what time did you have to wake up?
Well, I did everything I could the day before so I could save, like, even just a couple minutes. And I woke up at 2:45 in the morning, went to have breakfast at 3 o'clock, and the bus left for the venue at 3:45.
Wow. Now, at 2:45 and 3 o'clock in the morning in the Olympic Village, there's not a lot. Are there a lot of athletes in the
Not a
cafeteria?
lot, not a lot, but there were still people. Like it was crazy to see how everyone else's schedules were so different. Some people had finals starting at 10 p.m. and someone like had to leave for their venue at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was always overlapping. And people who were done with their races, obviously they were socializing the night before, and then like they just stayed in late. And so like, yeah, there were some people in the dining hall, but it was mostly open water swimmers.
Okay. So describe to people what the Olympic Village is like. I mean, we've seen pictures of, there's all kinds of food, but, before your race, A, what did you eat? And B, what is available in the cafeteria?
Basically, it's like an all day cafeteria. So there's like, it never closes. Obviously, 3 o'clock in the morning, not every station is open because it's completely unnecessary. But pretty much everything is available, from like dinner food from the day before to breakfast, starting at probably like in couple hours that day. So everything was available. My to-go meal before races is, I always eat oatmeal or granola or something like that. That's like carbs, but like lasting a little bit longer. I always eat sweet stuff for breakfast. I have such a sweet tooth, and I try to eat that in the morning. So, and I ate some croissants, maybe some fruits, so stuff like that, and definitely coffee because you need coffee at three
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Now, the night before, were you nervous? Could you sleep well?
So we went to Japan 6 day or 7 days before my race. So the time difference was also 7 hours. So um, it wasn't going too rough, but like I needed a little time to adjust. But
Yeah.
like 2 days before my race, I could say like I'm finally adjusted to the time
Okay.
difference, or like the Asian time zone. But then I was not nervous at all. Like any of the days, like seriously, nothing since I qualified for Olympics. I was nervous because I wasn't nervous. It's like I was
You were
like, do I
nervous
even?
because you weren't nervous. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I even realize I'm swimming at Olympics soon? But then the day, like the night before my race, I started thinking, and it took me a little bit longer to fall asleep. So I probably slept like 4 hours before my race. But I just kept thinking that, okay, like I cannot sleep, but there's another 24 girls who are probably doing the exact same thing. It's Olympics for everyone. It's their most important race. Everyone is a little bit nervous. So I just like try to find the positive things about this whole thing and not to get too caught up about the fact that I cannot fall asleep.
Got it. Now, did you have a roommate or roommates?
Um, Not on the day of my race. I had a badminton player when I moved in, but her races ended like 2 or 3 days after I got to the village. So after that, I was alone in my room.
Okay. Okay. So, and you were talking about the conditions, how warm it was. Had you trained in order to race hard 10,000 meters in 29-degree water?
Yeah, we were definitely expecting this temperature. So it was not like I jumped in the water and I wasn't shocked about the whole situation. So in Hungary, in my hometown pool, we had an outdoor pool, and the temperature over summer can go to like 37, 38 Celsius. And it's not easy to cool down the pool because it's a very hot system. So many times over summer, the pool temperature went up to like 30 degrees. So throughout my life, I kind of got used to it, but we did some special training. We went to a rowing course that's next to my city, and we went to Balaton, where 2017 World Championships were, where the water was also about like 28, 29 degrees. So I could train sometime like good 5 or 6 times in like this kind of water.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And how was the race course itself? I mean, it was fairly simple. They had, it's rectangle with
Yeah.
big, gigantic red turn buoys. But in general, how did you like the course?
I actually really liked it. First, when I saw it's gonna be 7 laps, I did not love it, but then it turned out to be really good. It went by super fast. I think it was um, better for the spectators too, as many as there were.
Yeah.
But they could follow the whole group and like the results easier. And the buoys were really good. It was easy to see and it was really easy to turn. There were no fighting at the buoys, so I think that was really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, those buoys were very interesting. You could see them from far away, and they were big enough that the whole pack went around them.
Yeah, exactly. It was not like someone stuck under the buoy or like stuck into the rope or something like that. It was like very easy to turn.
Yeah. And what was the feeding station? How was that?
I think it was good. It also helps. It was only 25 of us, and after a couple laps, it was less and less people who like fed at the same time. So I think it was good. It was like well lined to the course, so it wasn't like we had to like swim outside of the course like 10, 15 meters. So I think they did a good job there. Only thing I did not like that much was the finish line, because the buoys there were white, and the feet, like the water is white when someone's swimming in
Uh,
front of you, and the touchpad was white, so it was
uh,
kind of hard to see there. But I just had to follow the person in front of me, so actually didn't make that much difference for me.
yeah. And like you said, you've been swimming in open water for over 10 years. Do you ever have any problems with your goggles? Do they leak or do they get foggy or anything?
Oh yeah. Especially if someone kicks me in the face or like hits me, obviously there is like water in it. Honestly, during the race, I do not realize if something like that happens because I'm focusing so much about the race or of the race. um, if they get foggy, that's kind of annoying because it's harder to see. But I feel like it usually happens in like first part of the race, but after a while there's some water always goes into it and it just like clears it. um, the one thing, it's really dangerous because I'm using the Swedish goggles. There's no rubber on the like the
Yeah.
goggles. So if someone hits me in the face, it's gonna leave a really like rough mark. I know it's dangerous and I should probably switch goggles, but I just love them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what about your swimsuit? All the girls wore the tech suits all the way to the ankles. Was
Yeah.
that because you had trained in it? I guess it was that was the thing to do.
Yeah. While open water swimming, it's allowed to wear your suit all the way down to your ankle. And I feel like all those, even those like extra whatever 50 centimeters is gonna help you, or not even that. um I don't know, I'm just used to it. It would be so weird to swim in a like a knee suit. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we see a picture of you at the finish. You're obviously so happy.
Yeah.
What were you feeling at this point?
Well, once I touched the wall, first of all, I felt extreme exhaustion and thirst. Like those were the two feelings I felt. There was a ramp that we could use to get out of the water, and all 8 of us who were in the front pack were just like sitting and laying on that ramp for like a good 5 minutes because we could just not stand up. We were all so
Oh,
exhausted. And I think it's really good because everyone should be proud of themselves. We left everything out there, so no one left anything in the tank. You could tell once like we could not stand up. And after that, when it finally hit me, I'm fourth, then I was just extremely happy. I was probably the happiest fourth place finisher in the whole Olympics.
yeah. Now, how soon after the finish did you realize you got fourth?
Well, during the last like 200 meters, I kind of knew I'm gonna be fourth, but obviously it's open water swimming. Anything can happen at the like even last meters. And so I knew I'm fourth, but during the race, I just kept trying not to focus on my place, just like to get to the wall as fast as I could. Didn't let myself to think about like, oh my God, I'm fourth, this is great. Like I was like, yeah, just keep going. Like someone can like sprint you at the end. So I like in my mind, I knew I'm gonna be fourth, but once like I could finally climb on that ramp, like let myself feel that.
Yeah. So it was a 7 lap course. And around as you're entering the 7th lap, you knew you were in the top 8.
Yeah.
And one by one, you were able to get 7th place, 6th place, 5th place. At what point did you just go all out? I mean, there was a all out sprint. Was it 100 meters to go, 500 meters to go?
So once we turned to the last lap, I knew there's gonna be like even faster pace than before. But I also knew that we are all really tired because of the warm water. You get tired way easier than in cold water and you feel it way more. And I could see that like how people were moving in the water, who is really tired and who still has some energy. So at one point I had to switch because the group kind of broke into two different pieces, and I had to switch the group because I was swimming on the feet of the Chinese girl and I could see she was dying. So I was like, okay, this is not good. Like I need to pass her. And then after that, I made 2 really good turns, and that helped me gain a couple positions. And on the last 500 meters, I think that I would call all out, because I do not remember it. Just all I remember is just like telling myself, do not give up, because I was hurting really bad and it was really, really hard, but I could see passing people. And it was as bad as it sounds, it motivated me to see people die next to me, because I knew I had a little bit extra left. So that was what kept me going. But on the last 50 meters or last 100, oh God, like I don't know what like pushed me into the finish, because I was completely done. But if there's 5 more meters, maybe Leonie Beck, the German girl, would have caught me, but there was no more 5 meters. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy.
Yeah. Now, this is amazing for me as a non-Olympian to understand from you. You actually knew who was dying or who was hurting in the last loop. How do you know that?
Well, I spent 10 years in open water, and you're swimming with all these people. Like I raised these girls countable times, like I don't even know, and I know how they move and they have energy. Like I know they passed me many times. When you see they're like they kind of fresh in the water, and then you can also see when they are dying in front of you, like their movement just changes a little bit. Their strokes are shorter. They are just not that energetic. And I think I'm doing a really good job realizing this and making fast decision based on that. So that's also one of my strengths in open water. Like I didn't got stuck in a small, slower group, so I could always change to the faster people. And I like that's what happened at Europeans. That's how I got second. I knew when people in front of me were dying, and I knew where to start changing a gear and just pass them and try to catch up to Sharon.
Wow. So you're constantly thinking about yourself and everybody around you.
Yeah, well, in open water, it's never about the time. You're just racing everyone else, but you have to focus on yourself because that's the only thing you can control. But your performance is gonna be based on other people too. So yeah, it's hard because it's not like pool swimming where you have your lane and you're just responsible for your own performance. In open water, you have to adjust to the other people too.
Yeah. And in third place, the bronze medalist was 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯 from Australia.
Yeah.
And I would always like to swim against Australians because they have a bright yellow cap.
Yeah.
Did you know that it was 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯 that you were racing against for a bronze medal?
Yeah, I saw that she was always either next to me or in front of me, like right in front of me, so I always saw her. So on the last 500 meters when we turned to the finish line, I knew she's in front of me. I knew Anna Marcela is in front of me, and since I didn't see Sharon next to me or like in the group that I passed, I figured she's in front of me too. So I kind of knew who are the people in front of me.
Got it. Got it. And when I look at the top 10 people, 10 finishers from Anna Marcella and Sharon from the Netherlands and 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯, Leona Beck, you're all about the same age. You're all about 25 to 29. And in
Yeah.
fact, Sharon, Karina, and you are all 27.
Yes. Yeah. We were born 93, all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you think all of you will continue to uh, try to win the gold in Paris in 2024?
I think after these performances, none of us is gonna retire. I mean, I know about a couple of people who were always said they're gonna be done after Tokyo 2020. But I think the people who like Sharon and 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯 finally getting a medal, I don't think they are going to retire. And Paris is only 3 years away, and the qualification World Championships is only 2 years. That's that's way closer than 4 years.
Yes, yes. And so we'll see you in Paris, correct?
Yes, let's hope so. Yes.
Got it. Now I'm from California. We would love to see you in 2028. Are you thinking that far ahead?
Well, I'm not thinking that far. I'm thinking only about the next year because next year's World Championships and European Championships for us. So I always try to set like short-term goals first. 2028 is a very long time from now, but if not as a swimmer, I would like to go as some kind of official because I definitely want to stay in the sport.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And now you graduated from Arizona State University, which is in the western part of the United States, but you've been training in your home and in Hungary.
Yes.
Are you up to Paris? Do you think you obviously you're going to do races, but will you stay in Hungary or will you come back to the United States?
No, I'm definitely staying home. I have a very good coach, a good training group here, and I get all the support from my federation, so it works out great for me. And yeah, next Olympics are in Europe, so I don't even have to adjust to the time difference. I loved my time in the US. I always say that was the best decision of my life to go there and go to college to ASU. But for now, I couldn't even travel to the US, unfortunately. I really want to go. um, I was gonna visit my sister. I was gonna go back to ASU to visit my friends, actually after Olympics, but right now it's just not possible. So I'm not saying I'm never gonna be back because I do want to go back, just for as for training and for preparation for the next Olympic cycle, I think it's the best for me to stay home.
Yeah. And just one other question. I've always been curious. Hungary is so good in swimming. They're so good in water polo. You're so good in so many aquatic sports. Like why are your teammates, male and female, did well? I mean, why is it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We always think about it. I think it's all about the coaches. Um, they have a really good program at the universities to educate coaches. Just the history and tradition. We traditionally have a really good programs for kayak and canoe, water polo, and then the kids see all these results, and more and more of them try to get into these sports. After these Olympics, I really hope open water is gonna be even more popular, since Christoph and me, I think we were probably well, I think Germany and us had the most points in open water, and it's pretty cool to say. And it was also a big surprise for Hungary, I think, to do so well in open water swimming. So I really hope open water is going to be more and more popular in Hungary amongst the kids. And I think this is why it's been going on like this, and that's why we are so good at Olympics in all these sports.
Yeah. You did mention Christoph. He got a silver in a great race. Did you give him any advice? Your race was on the 4th of August. His race was on the 5th of August. So he obviously knew your performance. Did you give him any secrets or anything?
I don't think there were any secrets to give, but we are really, really good friends. Since he's swimming open water, the two of us went to races together all the time. We are like friends outside of the pool too. So obviously we talked about the race. I told him what I experienced, what he needs to pay attention to. I told him definitely drink a lot of water the day before and during, like as soon as he wakes up, keep drinking water and isotonic drinks, because like he's gonna lose so much water, especially because he's even like a bigger person, so he's sweating out way more water than I do. um and yeah, like I told him what I experienced, and I really hope that my results are going to motivate him to do even better, and that's what happened, so I'm super happy.
Yeah, no, he looked so happy when he finished, but nobody looked happier than you at the finish. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for spending all this time and explaining about the Olympic 10K marathon swim at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Anytime.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
thank you.
Thank you.